Let me bang. I do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, man. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
What's up, people? Welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. Me, Adam Hunter. I am here with Don Frye and Sean McCorkle. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year, partner.
Sean, how's it going? Don, how's your connection? Good?
So far, so good. How about you?
Pretty good, man. I got back from Cabo. I was in Mexico, had 4 shows, fun shows in Mexico, although I thought I got sick because, you know, even like with this COVID now, it's like they're like, well, the new one is the symptoms are like sore throat, tired, cold, and I had a bloodshot eyes. I'm like, oh, I got COVID. I got it. And then you walk around like you got COVID. And then you sit online and for a test with 100 people who think they have COVID too. And of course I get a test and in Mexico, no COVID. But I got it. But I didn't. McCorkle,
well, thank God you are vaccinated, because that will keep you from getting it 100%. There's only 70% of the NBA's players who are vaccinated have COVID right now. So like it's 98% of the league is vaccinated. 70% of them have COVID. You know who doesn't have it? The 12 guys who aren't vaccinated.
Oh my God. This whole thing, it's crazy, dude. The whole thing is nuts. Sean, how was your New Year's Eve? What did you do?
Me, actually, I think we had COVID. We just, honestly, I went to bed, me and my girlfriend both at 10 o'clock, man. We didn't feel good. Had a headache, sore throat, and was really tired.
Did you get the COVID test?
No, I don't want to waste
it's called a hangover.
Yeah. I don't want to waste a test for, might be used on someone who gives a shit. So,
and then how do you feel now though?
Better now. I mean, it lasted, 2, 3, 4 days. I don't know, but I mean, it wasn't real bad. I didn't feel super sick. It just didn't feel like going out and doing anything. And then plus I won't wear a mask, so it makes it awkward.
And then Don, what did you do New Year's Eve? Don.
Yeah.
What did you do on New Year's Eve? Yeah, well, what did you do New Year's Eve?
I went to bed. Quinn and I stayed up and watched John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and drank some beers and smoked some cigars. That was the excitement of my night.
That's the fucking manliest New Year's Eve ever.
Yeah, doesn't get any more heterosexual than that.
I'm surprised you didn't skin a bear or something, or like I can just picture you and like a bear partying, and like go out hunting and just kick some people in the head. By the way,
who has more chest hair, him or the bear? Things like that.
I did watch Cobra Kai based on your thing. It was the greatest thing.
Oh my God!
It's getting better. Don, did you watch it? Fuck. Is this going to be one of these shows? All right. So,
you mean a regular one?
It's like I was in I was having a bad day. I was in a bad mood. I'm ready to vent. I'm like, I'm just having like the shittiest. And then I'm like, I go upstairs to do this podcast, and then all of a sudden no one shows up for like 15 minutes. So then Don leaves. So then I call you guys, and I'm like, all right, and then Don's Wi-Fi has actually made me in a better mood for some reason. I can't even get mad because I have to get mad on his Wi-Fi. It's like nothing worse than venting and having the person go, huh? What?
I like how I'm on here at 3 o'clock, and then at 3:07 I get a text that says, "Hey, can you do it in 7 minutes?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then 3:09 you're like, "Dude, where are you at?" I'm like, that was a quick 7 minutes.
Oh, you were on at 3 o'clock? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was ready for you. I was like, okay, we must be delayed. And then it's like 7 more minutes. Like, okay, I get to do something. Look back. Where are you at? We're like, oh, 2 minutes, not 7.
Yeah, that's my fault, Sean. But as I was saying, the Cobra Kai, dude, it's so funny because I could totally see you being Terry Silver. The guy's got like $1 billion. He won the lottery. He's got all kinds of shit. Like not literally, but like figuratively, and then he goes, and he even said, he's like, my life was great, and I was so coked up in the 80s, I tormented a teenager over a high school
that was the best line of the whole season. I laughed so hard I thought I was going to die. Because, I've been telling you about Terry Silver. I registered real Terry Silver on Twitter years ago. Like, I was being the real Terry Silver, but I've been a fan of his since, like, 85, man, when that movie came out, or whatever it was, 88. Like, I thought he was the greatest ever. And then, we do have a few similarities. We kind of run stuff into the ground sometimes.
No, I could see you being $1 billion, like having $1 billion, and then just buying every ticket to Brennan Schaub's comedy show, so nobody shows up except for you. Which
something like that is already in the works. Not to ruin the surprise. So I'm already working on that. I have to decide if it's like the risk versus reward. I'll be giving Brennan Schaub money, but at the same time, he'll have to perform just for me. So,
well, at the rate he's going, that might. But yeah. So I'm just saying, 100%. Terry Silver is the most petty human being of all time. But that Cobra Kai took so many turns. But Johnny Lawrence, William Zabka is the fucking greatest actor. Like I was crying a couple times. I was tearing up in some of these scenes in the show. I actually was tearing up. And I'm like, where has this guy been? Like, it just shows you how fucking bullshit.
That's because you're a pussy.
But yes, that is because Don, have you watched Cobra Kai?
No, I have not.
You'd be perfect on it. It's basically like he's stuck in the 80s kind of, and all these woke kids, like he can't communicate with them. And that's what's the funniest thing. And the writing is really good. But the dude didn't work forever. Like he literally was in every 80s movie as the bad guy. And then just took a huge hiatus. I don't even know why.
Adam, I've wondered this my whole life, and maybe because you're out there in Hollywood. How do people like that make a living when they stop making movies for like 15 years straight? I mean, they go work at Best Buy or something? Like, what do they do when they don't do anything for 15 or 20 years?
Well, I looked at him. He was on a lot of things. And he probably did a lot of Comic-Cons, a lot of conventions. He probably did a lot of those things, and he did a lot of movies that you hadn't seen, or like he did a couple other like straight to video type things. So he was working.
I mean, you can make a living doing that, like straight to video movies and things like that, or not really?
I think it's all about how you manage your money. You know, I mean, Scott, like I've been to Scott Baio's house. He's doing very, very well. Like I'm talking about gated community, like super huge house, but he's a smart guy. I don't think he wasn't, he probably had a really good finance person, and they took care of him, So
well, he must have been smart. He was left in charge of an entire family of children when he was only like 17. So I don't know.
But yeah, meanwhile, it just shows you though. Like, what are some of your New Year's resolutions, Don?
I don't have any. Hell, I'm perfect, man. Nothing wrong with me.
You didn't write anything down, like things you want to accomplish this year?
Oh, hell, what do I want to accomplish this year? I want to do better than Brendan Schaub in the comedy circuit,
Don picked the easiest New Year's resolution of all time.
Dude, Don would be hilarious, by the way. If I get my show picked up by the UFC Fight Pass, which comes out next week, allegedly, I will 100%.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, we'll see if it gets picked up. And I mean, the first one got picked up, but I want to get the series to picked up. Sean, any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I didn't want to challenge myself too much this year, so I just made a resolution that have my back still hurt all the time, and to not get vaccinated. Those are my two goals this year.
All right. Well, I had actual real goals, you guys. All right. One of my goals, man. So I don't know if you know this. I had this show called Pinned, right? So I've been coaching wrestling forever, and some of the stories that like have been insane. Like literally, we had one time a kid showed up to like middle of the season for a match. I'm like, has anyone ever seen this kid before? And someone was like, I don't think this kid goes to our school. And his name was Titan, awesome. This little black kid. So I'm like, all right, I guess we'll throw him out there. He gets in there and starts like squaring off, like he's like about to fight the kid. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. The ref looks at me like, you didn't tell him this, But this other mom I like matched with on Tinder. I matched them, and she hits me up and she's like, I wrote a long email. Hey man, I think you're really cute, but you coach my son's wrestling team, yada yada. I don't think it will work out. Blah blah blah. So I show the other coach, my friend Brian. I'm like, hey, you guys know I like matched with, so-and-so's mom? He goes, let me see her. He goes, I banged her. I'm like, really? He's like, I'm like, when? He's like, 12 years ago. I'm like, dude, this is probably your kid in our team. It kind of looked like him, but it wasn't. Like the math didn't add up. But every time the kid was like moping around or slacking, I'd be like, Brian, your kid's not working hard. Like I called him Brian's kid after that. But dude, there's just been story after story. So I wrote a script. I wrote a screenplay about like a Bad News Bears of like wrestling, about a guy that was like a great wrestler back in the day, and he kind of like peaked out in high school, and now he's got to go back and coach his old middle school team, and they're a bunch of fuck ups and this whole thing. And I tried to crowdsource it, right? So I tried to raise $1 million for this movie. So I went on all I kept doing was I raised like $12,000, right? But I got like 1 million donors. People gave me $2, $3. And then everyone's like, where the fuck's my movie? So all day long, people were like, you fucking, one guy was like, you stole my movie, you stole my money. Anytime I went to Hawaii for a gig, like, oh, I was going to Hawaii with our money. The guy was like tagging like Joe Rogan and fucking Front Row Brian and like trying to get me like, so, but I gotta say, the dude, if I gotta be honest, did push me because I'm like, you know what? First of all, I'm like, how much money do you donate? I'll give you your money back. Like listen, I'll double your money back. Just leave me the fuck alone. Like, I can't make a movie for $12,000, So then I'm like, all right. So I hired a guy, and we rewrote the script for like 9.
Wait, how much money? How much did he donate?
He donated. I don't even know. He didn't tell me his name. He's like, no, I want the movie out. He wouldn't even tell me, right? So then
he donated $5.
Literally, it was $5. I'm sure it was maybe $20 most. So then, because we only had a couple guys donate more than like Chael Sonnen donated $200. Like we had like a couple guys donated, and this guy Christian Zora donated a couple, which was real nice. So anyway, I ended up like rewriting it, making it into a sitcom, and then I had to pay a guy to help me rewrite it. I never wrote a sitcom before, and yada yada. So then I'm like, all right, we're shooting it. We shot it in my house, right? And we shot it in the school that I coach. We used the actual kids. We cast it. Like Bill Dawes was in it, and Rob Belushi, and this girl Lauren. I had Lauren Compton, who, if you don't know, is like 1 million followers, like one of the hottest chicks ever. So I had her played my girlfriend who dumps me. So the fucking director, Joey Medina, a great guy, but he wanted to shoot it in our bedroom. And my wife had just given birth, right? Like 3 weeks before. So we're in my bedroom, and she's in a bra and panties, and we're talking in between takes. And she's like, yo, if I knew it was going to be this kind of shoot, I would have wore a better looking bra. And like the first time I did Playboy, and the second time I'm like, oh, my wife's hearing this. Like, you motherfucker, you're shooting this in our house. Like, I didn't really explain to her everything that was going. And I'm like insecure as an actor kind of. So I'm like trying to memorize my lines and this. Anyway, so my wife walks in, gets everyone coffee, and someone goes, quiet on the set. Right. So now she's fucking fuming. Adam, I need to talk to you. I'm like, oh, I'll walk out. She's like, you have a fucking girl in our house in a bra and panties. Adam, you're married with a kid. I'm like, well, not in the scene, I'm not. So she's like, I'm fucking out.
Girl in our room or bra panties. Where's my movie?
My wife storms out, fucking gets a hotel for 3 days, right? Fucking tells all her friends that fucking. So now, like, she tells her boss at work, right? So now we fucking shoot it, right? We shoot it at my old high school, about the school that I coach at. But now I have it, and then COVID hit. So now I have this thing, and like my goal is to sell this as a TV series. But we had to cut so much of it. Like, it wasn't the pilot that I wrote wasn't the one we shot because we couldn't afford it. We couldn't do action scenes and like.
You had to cut the bra and panty scene, and then you had to tell your wife that, right?
Dude, she wouldn't watch it for 8 months. My wife's like, I'm not watching it till you. She made me throw away the sheets and the fucking. I had to get a whole new fucking bed set, dude. And like.
Well, that's cheaper than a new wife.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So now I'm like, and then my dad, like, dude, I love my dad. He was my manager forever. He managed Alice Cooper back in the 70s, but like, we haven't been seeing eye to eye. He moved to the East Coast. And he told me he's going to help sell it. And like, we don't have a meeting. Like, we haven't had one meeting. My dad's like, hey, I just binge watched Yellowstone last week. I'm like, why don't you binge work? Like, so fucking. And then he's like, oh, this is your TRT talking. You do too much Adderall. I'm like, you have too many edibles. We should fucking swap medication. Maybe you'll work and I'll fucking rest. You know, because every time I post a scene from Pinned, everyone's like, I can't believe this hasn't been sold yet. How has this not been made? I'm like, I haven't pitched it. Like I don't have an agent right now that I have an agent, but I don't have it's not even about getting an acting agent. You have to get basically a shopping agent or a TV agent or, you have to get
stoner dad. Yeah. Stoner dad.
The whole fucking thing. And then so me and my dad are not talking. We're not working together. I love him to death. I love my dad as a father, and I know how hard he works. But there have been so many, dude, there was one time that I had everyone, Michael Blackson calls me up and says, yo, I'm having a show for some rich white people, right? Will you come? So I show up, right? And it's not rich white people. It's like the head of Netflix, the head of Sony, the head of CAA, the head of fucking Ed Norton. It was like the guy, Deontay Wilder was there. It was insane. It was like the guy who one of the partners of Casamigos, like with George Clooney and whoever and Matt Damon. Dude, and I fucking murdered it. And I'm calling my dad. I'm like, you got to get here. We got a big meeting. He's like, just get some business cards. I'm like, no, Dad, please. It was like fucking 3 blocks away. I know he was fucking high. I'm still talking about this in therapy. He didn't leave the fucking house to go. I literally, and then CAA calls me up the next day. We all want to see you. The whole agency wants to see you. But it was right before Christmas. Christmas happened, and then they never. Anyway, so I fucking, this is good. I'm venting right now. Because I'm depending on my dad, but I can't. This is what Bill Burr said, what Hollywood is. Hollywood, and women too. He used to have a bit about how you run a marathon by yourself, 26 fucking miles, or 26.4, and then you get to the end, and all these fucking people come out and go, we did it, and they all want to fucking celebrate with you, and they're like, where the fuck were you in the 26? Now, granted, look, my dad got me on the Tonight Show. My dad helped me I sold 2 TV shows so far, right? To 2 fucking networks. Kamikaze Comedy, and then I sold another show, and we fucking shot the show, we shot the pilot, we're ready to go. The network collapses. There's no more Fuel goes out of business. Then I sold another show to Esquire. They went out of business. I've had a couple, but anyway, all this is I don't want to have a loser mentality. It's not. It's just 2022. I'm gonna sell Pinned. I have to just organize my fucking 3 hours a day I got to spend on it, no matter what, or 2 hours a day. That's what I got to do. Because I just sometimes try to take things.
Yeah. I want to know what stocks you're buying, so I won't buy them.
Dude, Don, you can make a living betting opposite of me in Las Vegas. I'll tell you that, buddy. Just go with me and bet opposite anything I do.
Oh, man.
Yeah, between you two, I'll be a billionaire, trillionaire, man. I'll bet against both you two the rest of my life. I'm glad it made.
But it's all good, man. Look, the way because people always can't believe you haven't made. Look, I haven't made it. Literally Tonight Show, Last Comic, this, that. But I've made a lot more than a lot of other people, and I can't look at it. And the way I look at it is, if everything I would have wanted already happened, what do I have to look forward to? You got to have things to look forward to.
Well, you remember, and I'm sure you heard what Dave Chappelle said when his dad said, what do you consider making it? When he wanted to be a stand-up comic, he said, if I can make as much money as I would being a teacher doing comedy, I'd rather do that, or whatever. And his dad said, that's what you need to do then, and that's, if you haven't made it, you sure do have a nice house and you're living in LA and you do what you love to do every day for a living. So. Yeah, no, I know.
But you're right. You always want to look up, but 100%. That's 100% right. I just have to figure out, I got to just sit there and craft out emails, I guess, to pitch agents, basically.
Too bad you didn't have the forethought 10 years ago to start sucking Rogan's dick 24 hours a day and be willing to give him both your kidneys if he got sick and then talk about how great he is. Then you could be real bad at fighting and get knocked out repeatedly. He feels so bad he has to give you a career. Yeah, not that that's ever happened before, but
so anyway, Cobra Kai, by the way, let's get back to that. It's hilarious. The show was amazing. It reminded me of my fucking high school, though, man. The problem with me in high school, man, is that, number one, I got sent to boarding school for troubled kids, where I talk about my feelings every day and problems 3 hours a day, about my mom leaving me and my stepmom and me not getting along and feeling abandoned with other kids that had way worse than me. And then I would come home and kids would be drinking 40s at the school, be like, yo, Wu-Tang. And I just couldn't relate to them at all. I was like I was an outsider. But then I got to college, and these fucking kids. The problem with me, Don, is that there were kids that were just assholes. They were jerk-offs. And I never thought they were cool, but other people thought they were cool. So I would go, well, they're cool. Other people think they're cool. And then I would hang out with the worst fucking possible kids. And I remember one time I went to college, these fucking 4 dirtbags that would constantly like give me shit. They were in my fraternity and like they would just drink all day and smoke all day. And they were just fucking loose. They would be assholes to women and they would bully kids.
You're doing that now. You're repeating that act now in your life. You know that.
What, hanging out with you guys?
Yeah.
They would bully kids, right? I remember I was at a concert with this girl, and because I left, I went to Hofstra. I went from spending 3 hours a day saying hi to everybody, wanting to be the cool kid in college, and to like going to at Binghamton, going to Hofstra and knowing nobody, sitting by myself. And I was happier by myself, to be honest. I was happier alone than I was with a bunch of fucking fake assholes that I didn't care about, and that it was all about image. But I remember this one girl, I took her to Third Eye Blind concert, and she was like really hot. She's from Queens, great ass. And I was like, hey, want to come to Binghamton with me for the weekend? So I drive up to see my actual old friends. I run into those 4 idiots, the first people I see at the frat house, the kids that would pick on me, the kids, Donnie, Ricky, some other kid, and they were just fucking dicks, right? And they were like, oh, I heard you're making it as a comic. Yeah, right. And at the time I was on the Ricky Lake show. I was a Cupid. I came out like with my shirt off. Like I didn't get paid. I'm like, I was on the Ricky Lake show. I'd be like, yeah, right, Ricky Lake. And they were just, and I was like hyping myself up to this girl. And I'm like, hey, these are the guys, my friends. And then they see me and they're like, oh, you must have cool friends. They hate you. It all went bad, right? I was so fucking mad. I was humiliated in front of this girl who I still had never hooked up with. So then I go back there and the kids are there and the whole frat's there this time. And my actual friends, like, Adam, what's up? And then they came down. They're like, oh, whatever. I go, all right, dude. I took off my jacket. I go, let's go. I'll take all 4 of you motherfuckers. At the time, I still was like a year out of college wrestling. I was like, I knew they couldn't fight. I'm like, come on, let's go. I go, let's go. Come on. You guys are fucking tough. And then one guy was like, oh, all right, fine. I'll fight you. And he tripped and fell and hit himself and almost broke his nose. Blood everywhere. He was that drunk. And then after that, they rushed to him. And then I walked out like a fucking, like Clint Eastwood. They were like, oh shit. And all the younger kids were like, that was badass, Adam. Like, you stood up to those motherfuckers. And this reminded me a little bit of like Cobra Kai. Now, which philosophy do you like better? Do you like strike first or do you like defense? Sean?
The way I've always been, I'm like very nice and tolerant to a degree, and then I'll ruin your life or maybe murder you if you really push me. So that's probably not the best way to live, because sometimes the wrong guy catches it on the wrong day, like maybe I'm mad about something else. But yeah, if you're, I almost got jumped in Las Vegas one time by a bunch of guys. It doesn't matter if they were Mexican or not, but they were. Long story, I was walking back from the middle of nowhere in downtown Las Vegas all the way to the Strip because I was an idiot. And I got circled by a bunch of dudes at like 2 a.m. I could tell they were like, one was going down this train, like on top of it. One was sneaking behind this fence. So I just picked up a couple of like rocks and started throwing them at them, like big ones, like baseball size, and try to get them to come out and fight me. So in that case, like if you're gonna get jumped, I say strike first always, or if you know the person's gonna attack you, it just sucks if you're wrong and then you go to jail. So like turns out they weren't trying to fight you at all. But I don't know. It's pretty easy to tell what people's intentions are. So I always looked at it, and this isn't the right way to be, but I always said, like, if you spit in my food and I stab you over it, I guess you shouldn't have spit in my food. Like you get what you get for starting it, and like I don't know that's. I always go overboard, but if you had not started with me to begin with, there would be no problem. So
Don, you?
Well, I usually get so drunk I don't even know that people can a fight until I get a black eye, and then I get up after it. But sometimes I just ain't smart enough to know that I'm in a fight until halfway through it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the Cobra Kai that bothers me, though, is that Johnny keeps getting his ass kicked. Like, he gets beat up by everybody. He's the guy you like the most. He never beats fucking LaRusso. Like the one time that the double knockout, spoiler, sorry. But that was kind of funny. Did he win the double knockout or no? You couldn't tell, right?
Yeah, I think it was even, right? Did they say? I can't remember.
And then he gets, but how good is the other guy? The Cobra Kai, what's his name? Terry Silver? Like, why is he the best ever? Like, why is he so good?
Whatever made him successful in business, apparently he's got the magic formula, because that dude is awesome at everything he does. I will say, Don talked about being drunk back in the day. I was, I think, in El Paso, Texas one time, and the first time I'd ever met Don, first time I ever met Carl Parisian, and watching a drunk Don argue with a high Carl Parisian on which generation's fighters were better, Don's or Caro's, when the generations were only like 7 years apart or something, like we're only that much. They were arguing, was one of the highlights of my life. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because I don't know if you ever met Caro, he's something else. But him and Don arguing about who would have won, Dan Severin or I don't know, whoever Caro was talking about was awesome.
You think Caro's an example of a guy that could have been one of the best ever, but just drugs?
Dude, if you consider, if you talk to people that grapple, like that have trained under him, like Neil Melanson, his Extreme Couture's coach, I guess he got his black belt from the 28-year-old Carl Parisian. And when you figure Carl walks around about 160 pounds and was fighting at 170 in the UFC and dominating, most guys when he was he's really good, man, like really, really good.
Yeah, I think the problem is that like Armenians don't have like that many they have a lot of great fighters are Armenian, but they don't have any like superstars. So right. Carl is like a superstar. Like people may not know Carl in like Oklahoma, but in Glendale, he's like the Michael Jordan of Glendale. It's like, and same thing with Manny Gambarian. Like Manny, because I trained a couple times over at Go Course, and Manny's like revered. So I think in some ways it almost probably throws them off because maybe he gets drugs thrown at him or too many cars or women or whatever, and he would have been better off not being that way because
right.
he wouldn't have had all those things. He is like the dude is like the Conor McGregor of Glendale.
I heard that they always say someone's the Michael Jordan of this or that. I heard that Michael Jordan was actually the Michael Jordan of having your father murdered at a highway rest stop.
Oh my God, dude! Michael Jordan is like, talk about petty. Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech, where he invited the guy that got drafted over him in high school, had him stand up, and then just basically said, "Look at what I am, and look at what you are." Like
that's what you need to do with your 4 guys from high school. Find out where they are now and call them out on national TV.
But like he's basically, maybe it was like the guy. Yeah, he basically like picked the guy that like didn't make it and just like shit on the guy. Like the guy doesn't have to go, like his life is hard enough.
Wasn't it the coach that cut him? I think it was the coach that cut him in high school.
It was the coach that cut him, right?
Yeah, and then so he had him stand up. Yeah, I was like, hey, like look what happened or whatever. Like, yes, you were wrong on that one. He had some Terry Silver in him on that one.
Oh my God, no, he is like Terry Silver of basketball. I mean, basically, like he would make up stories that didn't happen to him, and just to motivate himself. I mean, he really is. Terry Silver is hilarious, though, because in the beginning, he's actually a pretty good guy. And then he just transforms into, like, the biggest piece of shit again at the end. But in the beginning, he was, like, he was retired. He was reflective. He did therapy. He did all that. And then the old coach comes in.
Brings it back.
Completely turns him. Like, for no reason. Like, he just ruined that guy's life again. Yeah, he did save him in Vietnam, but, like, I think he made up for it when he was homeless and he gave him the whole thing again. He gave him a dojo.
Right.
There was no reason.
You see at the end, Terry Silver getting back on top was like he would have played the long game and is on top again, man. Like, that was the best.
Oh,
that was the best thing ever.
Dude, it really is. That show is, like, unbelievable. Super happy about it. And then, although I do wish at the end, I don't know, I'm going to ruin it for everybody watching it. It's hard to talk about something and not ruin it, but it's a funny show. I mean, the writing is great. The thing is great. The one kid who comes back is the best. The 35-year-old that wanted to be in the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
what's his name? Oh gosh. It's some animal name.
Swordfish or something, or yeah, that guy. Anyway, let's talk about some fights, some real fights. Oh, really? What did she say?
She was like that. She said she loved it so much.
Oh, nice. Yeah, can I tell the crowd or not? So my wife actually works for Peyton List. She plays the bad girl, or she plays Tori. That's
works for what? You cut out. Works on what?
For Peyton, the girl that plays Tori.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She works with my wife on some things, and she's super nice and cool. All right, let's talk about some fights. Ngannou said he wants to box either Wilder or Tyson Fury. that he's gonna get killed. Correct?
Well, you better win this next fight first before he starts worrying about fucking doing something else. You know, that's the problem in the fight game, is looking past your next opponent, and that's always a losing strategy.
But how is a guy that has not had one pro boxing match gonna go? Why would he fight a guy against the two best guys in the world that have had hundreds of amateur boxing matches and then 30 pro? Money, yeah, of course, money. But is this the only way these guys can make money? Is to get knocked out by pro boxers? There's got to be another way to make money.
Hey, people.
What were you saying?
His problem is if he wins his next fight, he's still stuck in the UFC for at least one more, and they'll drag it out for a year. So he's not doing that. He could beat Deontay Wilder because like Wilder's just like him. They just swing wild and hope for the best, you know, or whatever. I mean, I think if assuming his power is anywhere near the same with boxing gloves, which I'd have to think it is, I don't think he's going to catch Fury with anything. I think Fury's just too.
Yeah, but I mean, Fury also went like 3 amazing fights with Wilder.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Ngannou's going to beat Fury, but I think he'd have a chance against Deontay Wilder because.
Really? I mean, there are a lot of guys that punch really, really hard.
Not like Ngannou though, man. I've never seen in my life anybody close to Ngannou. I don't even know how that's possible. What he knocks people out with like 6-inch punches. It's the craziest thing.
You don't think that one guy from Cuba, that guy that's 60 years old, that just fought last week? What's his name? The guy that fought last week on Fox Sports, like that guy from Cuba who almost beat Ngannou. I forgot the guy's name. I mean, not Ngannou. He almost beat Wilder a couple times. Ortiz. You don't think Ortiz hits as hard of him?
I don't think as hard as man. I don't know. I don't know with boxing gloves it can change a lot, you know, whatever. But I know with Ngannou, I've never seen anybody. I mean, he dropped Kane the last guy with a 3-inch hammer fist, like dropped him. You know, like it's just. Craziest power I've ever seen.
Football. And nothing goes better with football than turkey and betting. BetOnline has you covered all holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. Okay? BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all the sports action this Thanksgiving. You got to head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with promo code CLNS50 to receive your bonus. It's not just football, okay? BetOnline has pro and college hoops. They got NHL, they got boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, we're stuffed with deals this Thanksgiving. All right, let's get back to the podcast.
All right, we got Uncle Creepy here, by the way. I forgot to tell you guys he's coming. That's how professional this is. Uncle Creepy's here. Creepy.
What up, man? How are you guys?
How are you? Do you think Ngannou has a chance in boxing against Wilder or Fury?
Wilder, yes, because he rushes in, and Wilder's defense isn't the best. Where I think Fury can stick and move. You know, and I mean, when has Francis fought someone that's really bigger than him?
Right.
You know, so.
So the last time we talked to Uncle Creepy, Ian McCall. Is it Uncle Creepy or not?
No, I don't use Uncle Creepy anymore. That finally got rid of that fucking name.
I liked it, man. I liked it. I was bummed out that I never thought of it. Shit. I thought that was the best. That was the best name and the second best mustache in the fight.
Is that Uncle Don I hear?
That's Uncle Don.
Yeah.
Don is people's creepy uncle.
He is. How are you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Doing very, very good. Happy to be here. Happy to be alive. Life is beautiful.
Last time we talked to you, you were opening up a church of mushrooms, and you were an ordained minister. And you also were teaching people. You were helping people. I saw you on Real Sports, by the way. That was incredible what you did for that guy. For
Dean Lister.
Yeah, for Dean Lister. Have you watched that, Sean?
I hadn't seen it.
Dude, like Dean Lister. Is there any way we can get this feedback coming behind you, Creepy? Is there any way you can go with it?
Let me go in the house. Sorry. I'm at a gym. I'm at my coach's house.
So Dean Lister was literally taking like I don't know, drinking like 15, 20 beers a day, pills, oxys, just in the worst shape I've seen someone. I mean, awful shape. He gained a shit ton of weight. And Creepy took him. It's on Real Sport.
Wait, are we talking about me or Dean Lister?
Creepy took him. Did like some type of
last fight in the you never saw my last fight in my career. How bad I looked.
No, but this was like sad. I mean, Don, you are never sad.
Like Bozo the Clown. I looked like Bozo the Clown after a 6 month bender with beer and donuts.
Well, Creepy like did some kind of service with this guy. Took him to this like private room with a bunch of a bunch of people. Gave him some psychedelics and got the guy clean and sober and happy. I would say in 48 hours, the guy was bawling, crying, dealing with all kinds of emotional trauma. It was the saddest thing to watch, but then he was sober. It was incredible. I don't know if he's still sober, but that was like, talk about like, because I've always been a little bit on the fence with stuff like that, but man, that was incredible. So hats off to you, Creepy. That was really incredible what you did for that guy.
Thank you. I'll explain it a little bit further. We did a mushroom ceremony through a plant medicine church that I'm a part of, that I'm a sort of preacher for. I work heavily in psychedelics. That's why I have the ear of the UFC. I set up a study with Johns Hopkins University that they actually had to turn down recently, and I took it upon myself to do my own study through the Heroic Hearts Project, which is a big nonprofit that I'm creating my own arm of to do fighters. I work with them with their veterans. I help coach people. And we're taking 15 veterans and 15 fighters down to Jamaica, I do believe in March. Right now, that's the to be continued date. The date we're looking at right now is in March. So I get to save 15 of my best friends from fighting, from brain damage, and from the traumas that made them inevitably be a fighter in the first place. What drove you to climb into a cage in your underwear to fight people for blood money? And then on top of that, we're going into a cage and we're giving and receiving PTSD the whole time we're there. So if I can help heal my friends that did this and chose this life, then I'm stoked. I have a young bare knuckle boxer that I'm working with and wants to do it, mid career. So it's, some of it's sports performance, and a good part of the major part of it is just traumatic brain injury healing. And this is my first podcast talking about this, but I'll be looking to get, like I said, I need 15 people. I also need $300,000 for the whole thing, but it's through the Imperial College of London. They're going to run all the analytics for us. We're going to, this is 100% legal. It's not even done in this country. So, everything's above board, and this scientific information, we will then be in control of the narrative. I tried to give this to the UFC and Johns Hopkins, and they couldn't come to terms because not enough people have brain damage in the UFC. And Johns Hopkins wanted too big of a number of people. So I had to take it upon myself to do this. And luckily I'm doing it with people that I trust and an organization that I trust in the Imperial College of London.
Well, I know, can we nominate people?
Please, hey, everyone start emailing me names or introducing me to people on social media, or if it's you, find me on social media through Ian McCall. I'm shadow banned on Instagram. So you either have to look up the McCall Method, which is my business, or email me at ian@themccallmethod.com, or my website, The McCall Method. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's really hard. I mean, I was just on the cover of LA Weekly doing this sort of stuff. That's 16 million copies get printed. I don't know how many 20, 30 million people see that. I've had no traction on social media. Like, I really need to start doing a lot of podcasts because I'm trying to.
Stephan Bonner might be a good person to.
I'm friends with Stephan, and I know he's one of the people I definitely need to help out. I've been doing comedy with him for the last couple of years as more of a hobby, and people like that. These people that I looked up to as a kid, then I became friends with them and peers, and like fucking Chuck Liddell is one of my best friends. You know what I mean? Like, I get to just be I get to be so close to these individuals that showed me how to be a world champion and showed me how to be this person. So the least I can do is try and, help these people with their bodies and their brains. And then also provide some sort of life after fighting, because I have got a giant coaching program that I'm the director of psychedelic education for better euketamine. And I'm trying to get, much like a yoga certification, I'm trying to get all my athletes that I put through my studies proficient in all the modalities, the healing modalities that I work with: breath work, meditation, yoga, psychedelic integration, nutrition. So then they can go on and be coaches for other fighters, for executives, for normal people, whoever it is that chooses to use them as a coach. I'm just trying to build a better life for these fighters post career.
What about guys that were heavyweights that like have terrible back injuries and they can't get off their couch? Make fun of Brendan Schaub all day.
There's a lot of those.
Is there a guy there? Is there anything there?
Yes. There's a few slots for that. We need super heavyweights.
Sean, what do you think?
Actually, I was going to try to get my brother to come out there. We talked to Ian last time. He was, because I told you my brother's a raging alcoholic, right? Like drinking himself literally to death. Ian said, like, get a hold of me this night. I told my brother about it, talked to him about it for an hour or two. He's like, no, not interested. And I was like, no, I mean, I tried to show him the Johns Hopkins University studies on psilocybin, how it's having like a 90% cure rate on alcoholism and drug addiction, which I don't know if Ian was in on any of that or knows about. I'm sure he knows about it, but begged my brother, and it basically came down to he's not interested. He doesn't want to quit drinking. I was like, well, there's your answer. Then never mind. If you don't want to stop drinking, then, you know, like, I've been a big advocate of that kind of study, man. They really are having amazing results on the psilocybin specifically is what I've been reading about on it, just giving people basically their moment of clarity, you know?
Don, you've been in more wars than anybody I've ever met. Do you have any kind of PTSD from fighting?
Not a bit, buddy. Not a bit. I'm fine. It doesn't bother me a bit.
That's good, man. That's just the way I feel like PTSD has Don Frye. That's
this is the thing, though. You know, we might not even have these outward symptoms, but those sort of things get trapped inside of our tissue, and you know, it's just helping these people, release these things that get beaten into us, beaten out of us, because what happens is those trauma, whether it's physical, mental, it becomes inflammation in the body. Inflammation in the body then turns into things like depression, IBS, Alzheimer's, cancer, shit that'll kill you in the end. So, we might say, hey, I'm good, I'm fine. Well, that stuff happened to you, and anything that happened to you as a human through the human condition, the human path, we have a lot of trauma involved. You know, that's just life. So to get these individuals what I'm trying to use fighters as is a case study. You know, the most finger quotes fucked up individuals who were driven to be a fighter in the first place. Then they got in that cage and they did these things in front of everybody on TV. Well, if I can heal them, I can inevitably heal kids, because kids are the ones that if you look at two brains in a scan here, you have my brain on the right, looks just like the brain on the left, but we know what I did. I got brain damaged and did drugs and did all this crazy shit. The one on the left looks just like mine, but that's a kid. That's a kid that was repeatedly raped. So let that sink in and realize that, why are we looking at people as they're addicted or slutty or stupid?
You change your name from Uncle Creepy, because kids probably wouldn't sign up for that study.
You know what? That's
kind of hard.
The
playing
kid
ice
part,
cream music,
you can
handing out candy and stuffed animals, playing ice cream music while they're signing up.
In the back of your van.
Now, Uncle Creepy, man, I've known you, man. You're such an interesting human being, because I knew you when you were like top of your game. I still consider you one of the top, 3 featherweights of all time. You have legitimate win over what was that?
Flyweight.
Flyweight of all time. I mean, you have a legitimate win over Demetrius Johnson. Fuck what anybody says. Who people consider the GOAT. And then I met you when you were in your like player phase, where you would only bang girls if they had more than 1 million followers on Instagram. Like, that was a thing you actually did. What if they had like 984,000? Like, did you say like only a blowjob or something? Like, was that a cutoff or?
That was me being a douchebag and acting out my traumas.
Wow. Well, how did I get those traumas? Can we sign up for? Can I get those? Can I sign up for trauma? I want the reverse. I want to get those traumas. Can I take your course to go the opposite way?
There's only a few of us out there.
Got it. Then you became a comic. You're a very funny person. You're hilarious. Then you were with this girlfriend, and I was a little concerned about you because you were dating this like 6'2", beautiful German doctor. But you said that she was doing experiments on you.
No. It was a Serbian scientist.
Oh, it was. All right, a 6'2" Serbian scientist.
Oh, you fucked that up.
But you said she was using you as her guinea pig for study. And I was a little concerned because you say everything with the same monotone like way. So when you say these things, I don't like think about it till I leave. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, it all makes sense. And then like an hour later, I'm like, wait, did he just fucking tell me that like she's doing studies on him? Did she have you like in a cage? Like how did that work?
Well, she's a pretty famous scientist and very smart person, and she's the one that helped me build my psychedelic business. She's the one that educated me more than anybody else. This is the thing. There is no degree you can get on psychedelics, but I just so happen to be friends with people from the 60s and 70s, from people from all over the psychedelic community. And these people enjoy taking high-dose psychedelics with me and philosophizing, talking about science, or they appreciate my psychedelic exuberance, my love for science and the performance benefits of it, not just the healing side of it, but the actual sports performance benefits. That get me the attention of the UFC and get me the attention of Johns Hopkins and organizations like Unlimited Sciences and all these scientific spots. But I'm lucky she was my mentor in science, and she taught me while running experiments on me, while, building programs because of me. She still owns half my business.
When you say running experiments on you, can we back up a little bit there? What type of experiments was she running on you?
We were doing breathwork stuff and drug-related things, and sports performance with psychedelics. She helped me build the McCall method, which is all through traumatic brain injury healing through food, diet, exercise.
Sean, you're laughing right now. I feel like when Ian leaves, you're going to have like 10 funny things to say. Can you at least say them when he's here? Because I feel like a lot of guests, like you say these things after they leave, like because you store them up. Please talk to me.
Please.
No, I was just gonna. When you said a German doctor did experiments on you, I was trying to come up with something like Joseph Mengele or something. I was really working hard on it. And I had nothing, and then I was with something he said made me think of. I was laughing because somebody was asking me one time if I'd ever do DMT, and I'm like, no, I'm afraid I wouldn't come back. Like, well, you always come back. I'm like, but what if that 10 minutes you're gone feels like 100 years, Yes. And then I was like, no, I've been married before. I guess I could do it. But that's what I was actually going to ask Ian if is he ever afraid on psychedelics or DMT or anything like that you won't come back, or if you do, but it'll seem like a lifetime that you were there. I've never done any psychedelics, so I don't know.
That happens all the time where you're there and it feels like an eternity. You're their whole lifetime. But that's whatever. You're still sitting in the same couch spot you were in 12 minutes ago. So you're going to be just fine. Or I'll tell people like, hey, let's smoke some DMT or whatever over the last. I remember where was I? I was with Chuck Liddell, and I was at Jeremy Renner's house, and because he's got all these ridiculous famous friends. And I was trying to talk them into smoking DMT with me, and they're like, "No, bro, that's the stuff your brain produces when you die." I was like, "Doesn't that sound awesome?" Like, it's fucking. And this was
terrifying to me. But
this was it can be. Taking psychedelics realistically, this isn't something that I do for fun. I don't take veterans and athletes to the jungles to heal for a good time. It's the hardest shit you'll ever do. It's not a good time. It's not fun, but we have to extract this shit out of us so we can be better people. Because if you look at certain fighters, let's take Conor McGregor and John Jones right now. Those guys should not be looked at as villains. Those guys should be looked at as martial artists. They should be looked at as fucking heroes, and they're not. And they both need to be healed. So I would love to take both of them to the jungles or the deserts or the forest, feed them really high doses of mushrooms or ayahuasca or ibogaine or San Pedro.
Or our country. Go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, as martial artists, we need to be held to a higher standard. That's how I teach the kids that I teach.
That sounds like the best movie I've ever seen. You, McGregor, and John Jones in fucking Bolivia, like on mushrooms. I can't think of, like, that would be like sign me up. I'll buy my ticket right now to see that movie.
Well, there will be footage of what we're doing. Of course, I was on HBO filming stuff. You know, I'm.
I put my. By the way, but I heard Dean relapsed. Did he relapse?
Yeah, but Dean's doing much better. Dean is doing much better. You know, like the thing is abstinence isn't always the key. Some people shouldn't be abstinent. It just doesn't work that way. So you have to learn how to heal yourself so you don't act out with alcohol or sex or drugs or whatever it is. You know, I mean, we're all going to act out eventually. Like, you know, I'm supposed to be this head coach for this big company and other stuff and teach people how to do this. I still act out all the time. You know, so it's just like you got to try and manage yourself and manage your expectations of others.
Well, a lot of fighters are into it, man. I talked to Cejudo. Him and Kelvin Gastelum went with like Mike Tyson and did some kind of DMT thing in Canada. I heard a story about Mike Tyson.
That wasn't Canada. That was I was working with Mike. I was working with Mike for a while and that whole group.
I heard a story where Mike Tyson's one of the people that worked with him said that they heard Mike Tyson had a bad trip and was like in the Hollywood Hill, no, in like Malibu Canyons, and there was like 30 shaman monks running for their lives, and the guy had to run up, and he pulls up, and he like people are running for their life, and then Mike Tyson's shirtless, just fucking like the Terminator, and people are like, Mike Tyson's having a bad trip, and all these monks are just running down the Malibu Canyon, and the guy had to like calm him down. This happened like a couple months ago. Did you hear that story?
All the kung fu in the world didn't do that.
Okay, so listen,
it's Mike Tyson.
I was working with those guys for a while. Mike even said it on stage. I'm not saying anything that Mike didn't say already. Mike is a junkie for psychedelics. He spoke at the first major psychedelic conference with me on a different day, and he admitted to being a junkie for psychedelics, which was really fucking inappropriate. And you constantly hear bad stories of Mike, who is someone I sat with and gave medicine to. I saw him freak out too. People don't hold Mike accountable, and I'm not, you know, like, okay, Mike tried to fight me as well, so that's one thing. I'll tell the story on your thing because Mike tried to fight me. I won't go into why, but you know, and number one, I'm not fucking afraid of Mike Tyson. He's old and slow, and I'll choke him out. But the fact that like you have people like that in the world that aren't being held accountable for what they're doing. You know, and you can't like the guy has bad trips all the time. I constantly hear stories of it.
So when he tried to fight you, so he wanted to like he threw a punch at you, or?
Oh yeah, he tried, and then I ended up. I was well outnumbered in a house with attack dogs and so the person's house that I actually like thoroughly enjoy and like, who is, you know, an individual you don't cross, and we had a business meeting, and Mike just tried to fight me over some bullshit. And
did you hold him back, or did he actually get a punch on you? Did he hit you?
No, I stood up. He started to threaten me, so I stood up like, all right, this is going to be funny. This is going to be a good story. And then, you know, the person who owns the house made me leave. He just looked at me and he was like,
So what was your plan if he would have attacked you?
I was going to throw a lamp at him, and then I was going to take his back and choke him out. You want to see crazy, motherfucker? I don't care, and I know how big you are. I've hugged you multiple times.
So you see, you get up there. Mike Tyson's got you. You obviously know who Mike Tyson can let a punch on you. If he does, you're fucked. So you're looking over at lamps, and you're like, oh, I'm going to throw that lamp at him, and then what? Like ankle pick him or rear? Or like how would you get him down?
I would go body lock, just like Daryl Christian's always taught me. You know, look at the body lock attack that Daryl uses. Body lock attack to his back and either sit him down or just take his.
So you would get you would get like double unders to a body lock. You're not worried.
Or I would just double leg him into the wall, and people. It was a house full of people and dogs and shit. It would have got broken up real quick. It would have been, like I said, it would have been funny.
But so you would have like just rushed him, body locked him, not worried about an uppercut or anything or a knee.
No, if you throw a lamp high at somebody, I can get under it.
You know what would really suck is even after you beat up Mike Tyson, you'd be thinking, man, I just fought Mike Tyson for free. That would be worth it.
But you were going to throw a lamp in the air, distract him. He'd be like, oh, look.
Throw a lamp in the air. I'm going to catch. No, I'm going to fucking throw it at his face. and it's a heavy-ass lamp. And then I'm going to go low and take him down and fucking crawl him like a ladder and then take his neck. And then I'm going to choke him out and then leave him there and then run away fast because he is crazy.
Don Frye, what do you think about this plan of attack?
Better plan than I came up with, that's for sure.
What did you come up with?
Well, I'd have done bunny shadows on the wall, you know. I distracted him, then I just sort of ran out there, you know, screaming like a woman.
Wait, you pretend you were a bunny on the wall? Like bunny shadows that ran away?
Hand shadows. You know when you make hand shadows for your kids or the lamb?
McCorkle, what would you do if Mike Tyson wanted to fight you?
I'd protect my ears, I'll tell you that. That one was too easy.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that Mike Tyson could beat me up at this age. He's not really that big a dude, and he is almost 60. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
But have you seen him spar lately, though? He looks fucking crazy good shape.
Yeah.
Roy Jones looked amazing. He looks like he's on some stuff. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say, he's not just a junkie for psychedelics. He's a junkie for HGH and other chemicals, too, apparently.
I'm going to be doing that same shit when I'm that age, so I can't knock him.
So,
I did it. I wasn't even that age.
I'm already doing a bunch of peptides. What am I talking about?
So have you thought about – and creepy, I know you, right? So you don't take – someone wants to fight you. You take it fucking very, like, personal. Did you think about maybe setting up a fight with you and Mike Tyson on like Thriller?
I don't fight anymore.
Come on. You still train. You still train.
I train one fighter. I train Mark Irwin, the Shark Irwin from Bare Knuckle Boxing. I teach jiu-jitsu a little bit. I wrestle at the high school rarely. Bro, I'm not a fighter anymore.
You're like 180. You're 180. You're in great shape.
No. I'm 165 maybe. I'm jacked though, and chicks fucking dig it. No, it's just I don't know. This is just how I look because I work out really hard all the time. Kind of a hermit. I just coach people, but yeah, I don't like doing violence to myself or other people outside of like recreation, like choking each other. Like jiu-jitsu or wrestling, but it's all technical. I don't even roll that hard. I like rolling.
When you coach my kids, by the way, I'm keeping. You actually came to my middle school.
I did
a great wrestling seminar, and you were so good with these kids, and it was a thank you for that, man. That was Sean came too and helped out. Although Sean didn't know any wrestling moves.
Yeah, I knew I didn't know any wrestling, so I was like, yeah, I can't really help you guys out very much.
Well, thank you for letting me.
Oh, dude, that was the best. That was the best. But back to Cejudo. He's into it. Kelvin, I think's into it. Luke Rockhold's into it big time.
Kane.
Also, Rashad Evans.
Yeah. Rashad and I shot a documentary a couple years ago about mushrooms with an organization called Unlimited Sciences. And yeah, Rashad, I mean, I'm going to try and I would like to bring, Chuck, Rashad, my brother, Antonio Benuelos, my best friend, Kane, Tiffany Van Soest is interested, Carla Sparza, maybe Ashley Evans-Smith. I haven't really brought it up to her yet. People, please start emailing me, find me on Instagram. It's all one word, Ian McCall, and just say, hey, I have brain damage. Not every fighter has to be a famous fighter. That's just the people that I know and play in the space. But I already said I want to have a few spots allotted for just people, just fighters that no one knows, just people in the sport. Cause everyone deserves this. But, this is going to be a lot of fun. And it's not always going to be to a lab. I don't like labs. I don't like running analytics. I wish everyone just would listen to me and just say, okay, you know what you're talking about, but they don't. So I have to get the information, but what I'll be doing through my nonprofit, it's going to be called The Warrior's Way, is taking fighters, whether that's MMA, boxing, kickboxing, and take them to the jungles to heal with shaman, because that's the best way to do it. It's a lot. That's really intense, being in the middle of nowhere in the jungle in a hut or in like a hacienda type building where.
Well, I mean, somebody that I think
deep with a bunch of people, that's heavy.
Somebody that I think great for this is Mark Hunt, who just sued the UFC and lost. Now he has to cover the lawyer fees. He says he wants to fight Dana White and the Fertitta brothers. That's what he said recently. I don't think they're going to take him up on that.
No, I hope not.
But now, Sean, are you and Mark Hunt cool?
No, he never liked me since I fought him, man. He was one of my favorite 3 fighters of all time. Like, I took a picture with him the day before the fight. Was like, dude, would you sign this? You know what I mean? Or if I get it, print or whatever. I was like, you're like a hero of mine. He was like, and he was cool to me until I beat him. And then he didn't want to talk to me. I tried emailing him, tried to hit him on Twitter after the fight, asked if his arm was okay or whatever. And yeah, he doesn't like me. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
he was the only opponent I ever had I didn't talk trash about, like just to build up the fight. I didn't feel comfortable saying. The only thing I said, someone asked me if I had ever fought a Samoan before. like on Twitter, and I said, no, but I fought a real fat Chinese guy once, so yes, with a question mark. That's the only thing I said that was in any way talking trash to Mark Hunt. Other than that,
and that is funny.
Yeah, I thought so.
Now, Matt Hughes. Could Matt Hughes qualify for this?
Yeah. Everyone deserves a second chance. He went through that truck he was in when he got hit by the train was actually my buddy's truck or his family's truck. Whoever I can help, man. Like I said, I'm just this information isn't going to be the only people. There's going to be way more people. This is just the initial group that's going to be out there.
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. Hey, did he replace the truck when it got crashed?
Oh, I have no idea.
Thank you, Don, for worrying about what obviously was on everyone's mind. With Phil Baroni?
There's just been some things that I've heard about him, so I just trying to collect information and see if it.
I know
there's a book review out there somewhere about his autobiography, Don. You should look into that.
Mayhem Miller would have been perfect for this. He's in jail, and you even told me, you're like, there's no way he doesn't end up back in jail. You're like, I love Mayhem, but he's gonna end up back in jail, and then now he's back in jail.
He needs serious psychiatric help. Like, I can't just take him to the jungles because he might freak out there. You know what I mean? Like,
but I think that's the show. You, Baroni, Matt Hughes, Stephan Bonner, Mayhem Miller, and Ashley Evans. It would be at least be a porno at that point. And then,
or an episode of Cops, also in addition to the documentary.
Right? I think that would be. Come on, we got now. That show doesn't sell. I mean, I don't want to be the camera guy in that show though. It's the only problem. But Gary,
maybe you have Field do an Ultimate Fighter with all those guys, and Ian can coach one team, and they can mainly focus on psychedelics and not fighting.
BJ Penn might be good for this. BJ Penn.
Yes, I was talking to BJ the other day. His dad passed away. My condolences.
Oh, fuck.
Obviously, I'm wearing the Hawaiian shirt.
I didn't know that. All right.
BJ's parents were really good to a lot of us. Like flying us out there and having us train with him and stay at their house. And his dad, like I've spent a lot of time with his dad picking me up and driving me places. BJ's one of the people that is closest to me in this sport. And he'll for sure. I've been asking him for a long time. I have talked to other people about getting him in the study, and now that it's actually coming to fruition.
Baroni, we got Baroni involved.
I wish. The last time I saw Phil, I think I fed him a bunch of mushrooms in Vegas. We were at a charity event, and there was a charity poker tournament. I'm like, hey, Phil, you want some mushrooms? And, dude, getting him lit on anything and talking story about old school MMA, talking about, like, Mark, just about the crazy Pride days, just like the stories. Fucking Coleman, like just the growls of everything. And the whole it's hilarious, dude. It was one of the funniest nights.
He won a fight. He had a boxing match 2 weeks ago in Mexico. I'm not sure who he beat, but he won. He won. He started training people like in a garage in Mexico. I think he was dating some girl and hooking up with her. The guy might have had jeans on during the fight, but Phil won. So congrats to Phil on his. I
love Uncle Phil, but he's. Yeah, I need to get a hold of people like that and really, but see, with certain people, you have to do more than just psychedelics. Like I'd have to run full stem cell or exosomal therapies and peptide therapies to help their brains even more because certain, like myself, I was addicted to drugs, so I needed peptides to get off. I had acute amounts of brain damage and addictions and just all this stuff where I had to heal. So some people have to go a little bit deeper. Not all of us can have one.
You got Crazy Horse in there?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take anybody. I don't care. I need these numbers so that I can put them in play.
He changed his name to Felony. He's now Felony. He changed his name. Yeah,
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Crazy Horse. He won't even respond to Crazy Horse. He just says Felony. And then
if I have 2 felonies, he's got to have at least a dozen.
Right.
I'm just saying.
You talked to the Diaz brothers about this?
I have not, but I'm going to reach out to Jake, actually. I need to call him today. Jake Shields. and Gilbert, because I remember meeting Gilbert in high school wrestling. I met Jake in high school too, actually, because I was the young kid, and Bo Taylor, Jake Shields, and Antonio Banuelos were wrestling with my friends in college, and they came down to my high school back in the day.
What about Tank Abbott? We got Tank Abbott there?
I would love to do Tank. I haven't seen him in a long time though.
Don and Tank are like still good friends. So
yeah, I mean, dude, I will heal as many people as possible. I need donations. I need donations to the nonprofit. If anybody wants to donate to the Heroic Hearts Project, or just contact me and I'll walk you through it. It's not rocket science.
I like this. What do you think, Sean, about this thing?
I think maybe the craziest person you guys mentioned so far, and no one but me and Ian will know this, is Bo Taylor. That dude's out of his mind.
Yes.
He calls himself One Man Army with a trademark, and that dude he's I don't know, one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, man. That dude is something else. He's a guy on the underground, they call him OMA, but he trolls people. It's like a master's class. It's the most. He's the one that came up with when someone says something talking trash to you, saying, man, you seem upset. And then the person gets even more upset. Like, I'm not upset, you're upset. And he'll be like, oh, my God, I've never seen one this upset before over an internet argument. And just keeps telling them how upset they are until they're ready to come to his house and kill him. Like, he taught me a lot about trolling. He taught me how to troll on the internet, man. I met him, and he was like, watch this. It was amazing. Like, watching him.
Was he a good fighter?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he never fought 3 or 4 times, but I guess Ian might know different, but I guess he was really good for what he did.
Bo can fight. I mean, back in college, when I was in high school, Jake, Antonio, Bo, a whole group of friends I had up in San Luis Obispo, they went around beating up frat guys. I mean, I did the same thing too, but they were all really tough. Like they were training with Hack. They were all college wrestlers. So yeah, they were an interesting group of people.
Well, Bo's the guy who said that. Bo's the guy that said Chemo was dead. He announced that Chemo was dead, and then TMZ picked it up. And then Chemo had a press conference to announce he was alive. The next day, Bo had a press conference to announce he was still dead. That, regardless of what you've seen, he did his own press conference. He is still dead. But yeah, look up OMA.
Mark Kerr.
OMA and
Mark Kerr.
And Bo Taylor. It's amazing.
Is he not doing? I'm guessing he's not doing well.
He's just. I think. When I saw he was doing much better, but I think he's still like the pain problems. I think the pain medication, still.
Yeah, and
that shit.
Dude, I was addicted to it for 20 years. It killed me at one point. Like you can, the way you heal that is yes through abstinence, but you have to heal the receptors. You have to heal the brain matter first. Otherwise, you're going to go right back into it. I have someone who's very, very close to me who just got out of rehab again for fentanyl. And luckily they weren't shooting it up this time. They were just snorting it or smoking it. But, you have to heal those receptors. Otherwise they cause, it's just brain damage. Your brain isn't firing off properly. You're not thinking things through. You can't pay attention to things. You can't remember anything. You're just disoriented. It's brain damage of a different type.
Wow. Well, good for you, Ian. You're doing really good stuff, man. You're really making a difference to people. And I'm proud to know you, man. That's awesome. I will send you. I'll text you people's numbers and stuff, and I'll send them your way. And it's really cool. I know Don just went to Colombia and got stem cell, right?
Oh yeah.
Don
fell asleep.
Don didn't get Wi-Fi, but yeah, he got stem cell treatment, right? Is that the guy, Sean?
Yeah, he went to that Biocelerator place that is either the most revolutionary thing in medicine of all time, or they're doing a hell of a job of marketing it. I'm just glad I'm not nearly famous enough to even get a discount on it, and Don got his for free. So.
Yeah, well, and by the way, Ian, if you could help Sean anyway, the guy literally at one point was taking 30 oxys a day because of pain in his back, and he gained 120 pounds. He lost about 40 pounds, right?
Yeah, I'm getting it back down there, man. But it was my back. I went to Germany to that Dr. Welling, Peter Welling. I got that's where all the NBA and NFL players go. I got that done. My back helped a little bit, but I've been having, this back pain for years now. Like it is hell on earth. And every doctor that sees it is like, first, if you say your back hurts, they think you're a drug addict. And then I always recommend they drug test me on the spot to see. I've done, like I said, went all the way to Germany and paid $25,000 for that. I was going to go do the stem cells where Don went, but they told me that from my MRIs, they can't guarantee they'll be able to help me. And so I'm like, well, if you can't help me, I assume I still owe you the money, right? Even if you're like, well, yeah, it's the same price either way. So I've got to, it's basically, long story short, it's my L4, L5, and L5S1 facet joints have completely degraded to where it's just bone on bone, nerve on nerve, and it doesn't stop. The only thing I take for it now is kratom when I need it, and that's just because, I mean, it lessens it a little bit, but anymore, man, it's so hard. You can't get a doctor to give you pain pills, let alone find them anywhere else. So it's become impossible. So, I just take when it's really, really bad, but I worry more about taking 12 Advil a day than I do anything else. I mean, I've tried everything. Stem cells is not really my last hope, but I mean, it's getting there. So.
Well, I've got access to something called exosomes, which is take a mesenchymal stem cell, a placental stem cell, and then enzymatically extract all the DNA out of it. And that's the thing with stem cells are great. But if it has the same, DNA, you might get a great stem cell, but you might also get, Lyme's disease. Right. I'm sure these are all tracked and, accounted for where there's not disease in them, but it can happen. And also it has to have the same, does it have skin DNA or joint DNA or, what sort of part of the body is it working on? Otherwise it's not going to attach properly or attach at all. So exosomes, if you take out the DNA itself, it's just a nanoparticle full of growth factors and peptides. And, you can use that to then inject into your body. And one of my friends, he grew back his C6 and C7 vertebra. Really? He got paralyzed at at Nitro Circus in Panama. He was Richard Branson's kiteboarding coach. And he crashed and was paralyzed. And then he's been the best case study I've seen with exosomes. Now, obviously, I don't know all the different things they have at BioAccelerator in Panama. My parents looked into it. I know it's really incredible. I'm sure there's a bunch of information they'd like to tell me that, to educate me on. But those things really work really well, man. And I know they're expensive, but I have people here in the U.S. that do it for way cheaper. And I don't even know if you'd have to be in California. Well, I'd have to just look. But for people like yourself who have some sort of influence, at one point were a professional athlete, it at least gets you in the door with the company. So then, you can have a cheaper price and an easier connection to it.
Yeah. That's what I heard when Don said he got us for free. I was like, well, let me try. I called up. Yep. $45,000. I was like, okay. So he's way more famous than me. So.
Yeah. I mean, those things it's hard to manufacture. And again, I don't know enough about the BioAccelerators process and what they're using, but the prices that they charge down there are really gnarly. I'm guessing it's the amount they use. I should look into it more. But
well, yeah, I think they give it to you via IV for like 6 days or 7 days straight. So they blast your system with all kind of So it's not localized. It's your whole. It's through an IV. That's what they told me anyway. Through an IV and millions and millions or billions of stem cells at once. So
come. No, they'll give you billions. Come to Laguna and I'll get you the same thing in an IV on my buddy's couch. If you know the right people, you can do anything. And it's not illegal. That's the thing. It's all done through a doctor. And
well, Ian, where can people reach you?
Hit me up at it's Ian at the McCallmethod.com is my my email. My Instagram is the McCall Method. That's my business. That's not shadow banned, but my actual Instagram where you can see all the LA Weekly stuff, the HBO stuff, me and Forbes twice. All this cool stuff I've been kind of doing in silence. You just have to look at my name as one word, Ian McCall. I don't even know if it still pops up, but check it out. Give me a follow. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to follow him? And awesome. Are you sure? I don't know. Apparently I'm
are you sure you didn't mean get a COVID vaccine? Maybe that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Right. And like, it's crazy because I put myself out on the line there. Like we're talking about, I'm in LA Weekly with 16 million copies printed. And I'm talking about the fact that I'm the face of a company that makes an illegal substance. 16 million more people know I'm a drug dealer. And, and it's like, I'm a scientific researcher. That's what I do. But I put my neck on the line for a brand that I believe in because we're making a product it's a gummy. It's a psilocybin gummy that's extracted. And these are meant for soccer moms, kids in school that don't want to take Adderall, brain surgeons that don't want to, they want to be on point. It's just enough as a microdose as to be subperceptual. So it turns your brain on, but it doesn't get you high. If you take the whole 10, sure, you'll get a little high, more than a little high. But this is meant for one. This is one gummy at a time. This whole making gummies strong and making them as powerful as possible. Not everyone's like me that wants to be stoned all day. Most people, the bigger market and the people that need it more, are these sort of people. So go check out Argos, Argos, ARGOS on Instagram as well, just to see the education we're doing with psychedelics, my puppet show. I have a puppet show where we turn Terrence McKenna into a mushroom puppet. So, you know, I'm trying to educate people about mushrooms. You know, I like my whole industry. This isn't even my brand. You know, I just like to promote the industry and promote the people that do this. And I'm trying to make it funny because puppets are hilarious. Yeah, and we're trying to do capsules with film, psychedelic film, with Argos film, Argos art capsules with people like Roland Berry and Esteban Oriol, who did my LA Weekly shoot. Trying to just do a bunch of cool stuff. We'll be at Burning Man. We'll be doing a bunch of really cool artistic stuff because I'm trying to build an educational platform, but also a lifestyle platform for psychedelics. It doesn't have to be tie-dye and like, well, man, I smell like patchouli. It can be different. It can be like me. I don't wear really that sort of stuff or smell like patchouli. You know, so it's not just for hippies. Like psychedelics are not just for hippies anymore. It's for everybody. So we're just trying to, you know, make it a cool community. And yeah, thank you.
It'd be great to use those puppets to distract Mike Tyson before you attack him too.
I know, right? It's a good idea.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Ian. Take care, brother. Have a good week.
Thank you, man. See you guys.
A puppet show. Nothing like getting kids to want to do mushrooms.
Sounds good.
Oh my God, love Ian.
I could be wrong, but Ian seems like he genuinely wants to help people, man. Like he really does think like that's his passion, you know, to help people.
1,000%. Don, thoughts?
I don't have any at this moment, man. I stuck off and did a couple lines, you know, and I got muted, and I'm just
there's like a fucking wind tunnel in the background.
I'm sitting outside.
Don, is your between us and everyone listening? The only place I found I can get reception. Yeah.
What were you saying?
Don, between us and everyone that watches this, is your back really considerably better?
Oh shit! Did I lose you?
No. Is your back? All right. Sean asked you, is your back considerably better?
You know, partner, it's good now. It kicked in a couple days ago. It started feeling really great again, and I'm like, shit. I hope I don't screw it up again. So I'm gonna go back to celibacy for a while and make sure I don't fuck it up the way I fucked it up the last time. You know.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, you got to stop fucking those sheep. Now, so.
Okay. Oh.
The reception was
now,
perfect.
Are you in California or in Nevada?
I'm in California.
I thought you moved to Nevada.
No, I never moved.
Oh, I got that all fucked up.
Yeah. I'm just there a lot. Now, all right, last question of the day. Who wins in a fight? Mike Tyson or Uncle Creepy?
It depends. I mean, if all Tyson's got to do is hand one and it's over.
Right. But I like Creepy's lamp thing, though. I didn't realize there was a lamp involved. Because at first I thought...
That would change that. That would change the betting odds for sure. Like if he's like... Instead of like +7, +4, like plus lamp, heavy lamp, it'd be like, dude, I don't know. That could sway the odds.
I mean, if there's objects involved, like a foreign object, I got to go with Creepy had a whole strategy. Like Tyson wasn't expecting a lamp to be thrown at his head, you know?
And he was on psychedelics at the time too. So.
Nobody is. So if there's lamps being thrown, if he throws a lamp at his head, he's got to like dodge the lamp, right? And then he goes in for a double. Or a low single.
Well, like Sean said, he might think it's just a psychedelic effect and not even duck, you know, shit. And then again, what damage is the lamp going to do to Mike Tyson's head, you know?
Yeah, talk about turning Mike's lights out, right? Anyway, so this is.
Oh God! I wish I was not here for that one. You know that.
No,
I really wish I was here for that.
That wasn't my brightest moment. Anyway, listen. So.
This is getting worse.
I don't want to. Come on. I don't want to. Come on. Stop throwing shade.
You're throwing me into a dark pit of despair here.
So stop throwing shade. No more shade. No more shades to be thrown your way. All right. So anyway, listen, people. This has been awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a good.
Hey, last thing I wanted to say, man, before you go off, don't forget. I know you and your dad are having your problems right now, but at least you have a dad to have problems with. So.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. You're the best. Love you guys. Take care.
Yeah.